Hey guys, welcome back to BigRedEDC. Well guys, I'm just kind of here today to kind of give you some final thoughts on the Mach 51 from Tempest Knives. KC's prototype knife that he's had come out now. And, you know, you guys asked, I did my unboxing and you guys asked some questions in the comments. And I kind of addressed some of them on SKL here Saturday night. But I just, you know, not everybody's had a chance to see that. So I just kind of wanted to go over a few things. Um, and KC and I have discussed this knife in length. And to be perfectly honest with you, here in a couple of days, there's going to be a special edition of Channel Chat posting where it's pretty much almost an hour and a half of me or KC and I talking about this knife. What I think about it, what I think could potentially be areas to maybe take a look at, maybe, and I'm not going to say improve, because that's not exactly what needs to happen. Maybe alter just a little bit. I mean, you can use that word if you want to. It's really, the stuff I talk about is really from person to person. So it's not necessarily, it wouldn't necessarily be called an improvement in my book, but it's things that KC knows about and he's already thinking about addressing. So, and then I just kind of wanted to address some of your guys' comments or some of the questions you may have had from my unboxing video. So, now I will tell you that when I did my unboxing and when KC and I did our channel chat, I hadn't had the opportunity to carry the Mach 51 that much. I looked at it, handled it, you know, played with it, did, you know, open and close. When you guys saw in my unboxing video, it got me first off. I think it's bit everybody first time off. But after carrying it for, well, I've carried it a good, oh man, I've carried it ever since I had it. So a good 3 or 4 days, it carries fantastic. Now, since we're talking about carry, we'll just talk about the pocket clip. Now, KC is definitely a wire clip fan, and that's what he went with. That's awesome. I've had a couple of comments that they think the wire clip looks out of place on it. I mean, I get what you're saying because of the full titanium, you know, the full titanium body, and then a wire clip. Somebody said, you know, a full titanium clip may look better on it, I guess, is what they were saying. Yeah, okay. I'm not going to talk about some things with the clip. I'm going to let KC talk to you guys about them because, well, it's his knife, and I'm not going to spoil his. But he's looking at some things, guys. I will tell you that. He's definitely looking at some things, trying some things out, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see them. He's going to talk about it very, very soon. That's all I'm going to say about it. But what I will say about the wire clip, it's absolutely fantastic in the grip. I can't feel it. And, okay, I can feel it. It's not a hot spot. No way, no how for me at all. It hits me just right. Now, I understand we all have different hand sizes. That might not be the case for everybody. But, yeah, it is definitely not an issue at all. And it's nice. It's deep carry. Love that. And like I said, it's got good retention on it. It carries really well. Let's take a look at that really quick, and I'll just show you how deep it is. I mean, the dang knife disappears in your pocket. I mean, you got, yeah, it hides. There's nothing there. So as far as the clip, the carry, yeah, it's nice. Now it does carry at a slight angle. You notice if the pocket clips up, you know, it's going to be in your pocket like so. You know, so it will have a little bit of an angle to it. And that kind of goes along. I had a couple people, you know, talk about the cockpit area. And you guys know, I mean, that's one of the main focal points of this knife, especially for the design and everything. It's supposed to be designed after a P-51 Mustang. I totally see that, you know, the cockpit in this knife. And a couple of the comments about the profile. Well, I mean, there's really hardly any profile, and I'm just going to do this so you guys can see it as far as pocket profile. Yeah, that's not even really an issue. If you look at one of the most popular knives out there, you can see the PM2 has much more of a profile in the pocket than the Mach 51 does. And yes, they are lined up. I've got my fingers underneath it, lining them up. Yeah, they're pretty much, it's obvious that the P51, or excuse me, the Mach 51 does not have a really large profile. And somebody made that comment about the PM2, and you're exactly right. You're exactly right. The profile is not an issue in pocket at all. Now, I did have another comment about this area being cut out. Yeah, I can tell you, no, I'm about 99.5% sure it's not going to be cut out in the final production. I mean, I can't say 100%, but just in talking with Casey, yeah, I don't see that happening. I really don't. Now, the one comment I made, or I made a reply to someone's comment. I'm not sure it went the way I intended it to. I don't know if I said, I responded to a comment, about the opening and stuff like that, that this knife isn't made for the beginning knife user. It's not. You can just tell that by the opening methods. If this was a beginner knife, it would have a flipper. It would probably have thumb studs, something like that, a much easier opening method. And Casey and I talked about that as well. It's made for the knife enthusiast. That's just, I mean, there's going to be 200 of them made. I believe that's what he said. So it's not a mass production, it's not, it's made for the knife guy, we'll say. Spidey flicking is pretty good. Thumb flicking. And of course I hose it up twice. Wow. That's funny. I can thumb flick it if I don't put pressure on the frame lock, but I can Spidey flick it much easier. That is true. I can definitely Spidey flick it much easier than I can thumb open it. There, get my hand off the frame lock, and I can thumb flick it fairly easily as well. But Spidey flicking is much easier for me. And you guys know me and my issues with Spidey flicking. The main thing for me that I talked to Casey about was the access to the frame lock. Is it bad? No, it's not bad. Can you get your thumb in there and close it? Yes, you can. Could it be a little easier? I think it could, possibly, depending on, if it allows for, maybe a little more milling or something like that. And that is something that Casey was definitely aware of when he first got the knife. I mean, that was one of the first things he noticed too, I'm pretty sure. It's not bad. And the reason I say that is because to do it, you're a little bit further down. And the frame lock is, because of the length of the lock, it's a little bit shorter frame from what I see for the size of knife. It's a little stiffer. Not bad, but it is. And man, I just can't do anything behind the camera tonight. It's not hard at all there. But maybe if the access was up a little higher, it might be a little easier. You get a little bit more leverage on it. I mean, those are really, really the main points that I spoke to Casey about. And originally, when I was looking at this, I did ask him about this part right here. Now, as you can see, that's just your filler for the blade to the handle, right? Gives your thumb a nice place to rest. And, when this was first reaction, I was like, okay, it kind of doesn't flow with the lines, right? And then the more I looked at it, and I was sitting here, and even there's one point in our channel chat where I'm talking to KC, and I kind of space out a little bit because I'm staring at this knife, and I'm really staring at this line here. And I'm like, dude, that looks just like a Mustang, the car. You know, the hood goes over the roof and then it comes off to the trunk. I was like, dang. And he's talking and I'm like, oh crap, man, I'm sorry. Because that's exactly what I was seeing in it. So, and I've had several people talk about, you know, speedboat and stuff. And that's kind of what this knife is all about. You know, its primary influence was the P-51 Mustang and Formula One race cars. But both of those are speed, and people say they see a speedboat. I can see that as well. You know, it's just that speed aspect of the knife, and that's kind of the flow of the lines and everything like that. Now I'm taking a look here, guys, because I wanted to see some and just see if I could address a couple more of the comments. No, there's not going to be a flipper tab. No, there's not going to be thumb studs. This is pretty much the knife. It's got the orange peel texture on the handle. That's really nice. Oh, the other thing, there's been quite a discussion about satin and stonewash. If I get my nasty fingerprints off of it, we can see it a little bit better. But I mean, you guys know I'm all about a good stonewash. No. And that's what I tell him. The satin finish on this knife is fantastic. I think it gives a nice contrast to the orange peel. You know, if we can kind of, there you go, you can kind of get a good look at the orange peel. I think that satin texture or the satin finish does well because you've got the vertical satin here, you've got the horizontal satin here, and then the cockpit, the inner of the cockpit has got that light bead blast on it. I just think that contrast works. I think it really works. It works for me. That's about as good as I can put it. There's not a whole lot to stonewash on it. I guess you could stonewash, but honestly, I don't think you want to. I really don't. I think the satin finish is right there. Somebody asked about obviously different handle materials. No, it's gonna be titanium. And you know, if these sell and do well, who knows what may come. I haven't talked to Casey this much. I mean, he said maybe, maybe there might be something with a flipper tab if you could work it in there. Micarta, who knows? Who knows? You know, this is his first design, and he's been perfectly honest and say he designed this knife for him. And good. I'm glad you did it that way. I really am. It's his dream. It's his vision. And if he were making this knife for the beginner knife user, sure, I could see G10, I could see flipper, I could see micarta, so on and so forth. But that's not the idea behind this knife. And I think that comes out in the knife, and I am liking that aspect. The other question was a sharpening choil. Now, we're not really, I have nothing to do with it. We discussed that he's thinking about maybe extending this out just a little bit more to potentially kind of take away that transition. Because as you can see there, you've got a little transition spot from the finger choil to the blade. And he's thinking about maybe bringing the choil out a little bit further to maybe get rid of that completely, which will kind of, it won't be the sharpening choil that you and I are thinking of, or that you may be, asking about initially, but it could fix that issue that the choil. And, I am not the master sharpener. So I don't see it as an issue because your plunge is fairly straight. So, if you're careful, which you should be with a lot of your knives. Now, I know some of you are like, has to have a choil. Well, okay. It's going to be one way or the other. You're going to make some people happy and you're not going to make other people's happy. It's just the way it's going to be. You're not going to make everybody happy, unfortunately. It's a great goal, probably not going to happen. But those are pretty much the most focused on areas, questions that people have had. Like I said, guys, overall, I am really digging it just the way it is. Couple of little things that we've discussed and Casey has already addressed, and he's already, got that on his list. There may be more from some of the other reviewers that are going to take a look at it. That's why he's sending them out. He's getting a wide variety of opinions, which that's exactly what he should do. I'm on board with it. I really, really am. He's said that the price point is probably going to be between the $240 and $250 range. He's got, there's certain things that when he first started might not have taken into account, like your setup fees for the Kickstarter and all that other good stuff. There's a lot of little things that add up, and to make it worthwhile, well, you have to charge a price that's going to make it worthwhile. So it is what it is. I know that price is going to price a lot of people out. I understand that. And, I'm bummed about that, we'll say, because I would love for as many people as possible to be able to get this in their hands. I really, really would. I think it's fantastic. And, there again, who knows what's to come? I don't know. I'm not sure KC knows off the top of his head, to be perfect, because he has to see how these do first, honestly. That's just the way it is. So I've kind of rambled on for a little bit longer than I wanted to. Guys, I highly encourage you check out the channel chat that's going to be posted here in a couple of days, because like I said, Casey and I really go into in-depth a little bit further than what we've already talked about. And some of the things like with the clip and stuff, I believe he talks about in that channel chat, and I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to let him talk about it because it's his thing, and that's just the way it should be. So I really appreciate you guys checking it out with me, hanging out, listening to my thoughts. Casey, thank you so very much for the opportunity to check out your prototype. I truly, truly appreciate it. Guys, I hope that this kind of gives you a little bit more insight into what the Mach 51 has to offer. And please check out that channel chat. It's a good one. It's a good one. So thanks a lot, guys. As always, appreciate you watching. Remember, like, subscribe, leave me that comment. I love talking to you. Till next time, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.